Back in 2004, Michael Mann dropped a little cinematic masterpiece on us called Collateral. And let me tell you, watching Tom Cruise go full-on hitman mode was about as surprising as seeing Oprah pulling a Glock out from under her chair. You get a gun, you get a gun, you get a gun, everybody gets a gun!
All right, open your boxes.
You get a gun! 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 You get a gun!
Now, I'm a gun guy. Shocker. I know. So when I revisit a classic movie scene, I can't help but dissect the details with surgical precision, especially when we're talking about what I think is one of the top 5 greatest shooting scenes ever filmed, the legendary Briefcase Scene.
Why, you want it back? About your wallet. What else you got for me, huh? Fuck!
But before we dive into this like Tom Cruise diving out of an airplane for fun,
3, 2, 1, go!
let's sprinkle in a couple of quick Easter eggs about the movie because you know how we do. First off, Collateral almost never happened. It was stuck in Hollywood purgatory forever, going through more rewrites than my last Tinder bio. Originally, Russell Crowe was supposed to be the ruthless assassin Vincent. He bailed and Michael Mann tapped Tom Cruise instead. Cruise being Cruise went full send. This was literally the first movie he trained using live rounds. My man trained 3 months straight and his gun handling got so good, they started teaching his technique in real-world tactical courses. Imagine that. Hollywood teaching actual pros how to draw a gun. Also, fun fact, my guy Jason Statham has a sneaky cameo at the beginning, handing off the briefcase to Vincent. For years, fans wondered if this was secretly the transporter doing a quick Uber Eats delivery for contract killers. And the director even teased it might have actually been the case. Cinematic universes before Marvel made it mainstream. Take notes. Now, real quick, if you're loving this deep dive into movie scenes, guns, and all the behind the scenes goodness, then trust me, you're gonna love my podcast, The Pew Culture. Pew, 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 pew. It's a new podcast that I co-host with my good friend Jacob.
I'm Jake.
Who just so happens to be an actual movie armorer. And I'm talking a legit Hollywood armorer. Jacob's the guy responsible for putting guns into some of the biggest blockbusters you've ever seen. And he's working on projects right now that I can't even tell you about. Otherwise, Hollywood might have to send John Wick after me. Now, the beautiful thing about having Jacob on the podcast is we get to unpack a treasure trove of Easter eggs, insider secrets, and fascinating behind the scenes details about movies and their guns. We talk about actors, their gun skills or lack thereof, and hilarious production stories you'd never hear anywhere else. Listening to the Pew Culture Podcast is like sitting down with your best gun nut friend and watching movies, critiquing action scenes, and laughing your ass off. Trust me, it's a wealth of entertainment, information, and fun. So hit the link in the description section and head over to the Pew Culture Podcast channel, smash that subscribe button, and get ready to geek out with us. All right, now back to this Cruise unleashing mayhem situation. It was only 2 minutes, but to this day, the briefcase scene from Collateral is etched permanently in my mental hall of fame. I still vividly remember the anxiety and tension as Tom Cruise's character walked straight up to those 2 thugs like an annoyed parent at a playground saying, "Hey homie, that's my briefcase." I had no idea what he was about to do, but given what he'd already pulled in the movie, I knew it was gonna be vicious, and damn, I was right. Even knowing something crazy was coming, it still caught me completely off guard when Vincent casually parried the dude's gun to the side, drew his pistol, and shot the first guy twice, then Mozambique drilled the second guy as he was literally falling. I almost jumped out of my seat in the theater and yelled, "Hell yeah." And here's the funny part. I didn't truly appreciate the sheer technical beauty of that moment until about 12 years later when I really got into guns. I mean, at that time, I didn't even know what the hell a Mozambique drill was. Now seeing Tom Cruise execute it flawlessly in a movie still blows my mind. Even today, it remains one of the most badass, sexiest displays of gunplay ever captured on film. And remember, it was only 2 minutes, if that. Let's also not forget that as an HK fanboy, discovering that Tom Cruise used an HK-45 USP made the entire scene about 10 times cooler. But now that I've been a gun guy for over 2 decades, I find myself critiquing this legendary scene like a cynical old firearm connoisseur. First, let's talk about the gun choice. The HK USP 45. It's one of my favorite 45 pistols ever. Only second to the FN 545, which I did a whole separate love letter video about. But there's no way in hell you're gonna convince me Tom Cruise was concealed carrying this absolute boat anchor of a pistol in the tight ass suit he was wearing without printing like some guy named Colion Noir in gray sweatpants during summertime.
Are you done? Are you done?
Not to mention, the USP is heavy as hell. And if you watch closely when he draws, he's not wearing a belt. His pants don't even have belt loops. You seriously want me to believe that Vincent was comfortably packing this Cruise Serve artillery piece in an inside the waistband holster with no belt in a tailored pantsuit tighter than my last tax audit? Either his pants were crafted by NASA engineers to maintain friction-based gun retention, or that's pure movie magic bullshit. Ain't no way.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And that infamous holster? It's a custom G-code with an early inside the waistband adapter. As far as I'm concerned, they must have set the retention looser than my discipline on cheat day. Hi. Because there's nothing else to keep it anchored. Again, fine for a movie, terrible idea for a real world assassin sprinting around LA all night. Now, as much as I love the HK USP 45, if I had to step into Vincent's shoes for real, my choice would be a Glock 30. You get 10+1 rounds in a far more compact package, and since Vincent carried 2 spare mags, I'd rock 2 13-round Glock 21 magazines as backups. Same 37-round total, but easier to conceal and quicker to Mozambique drill since you don't have that long, heavy double-action trigger pull on the first shot. But, and this is a big but, from a purely cinematic standpoint, the HK USP 45 was absolutely the right choice. It has way more presence on screen compared to the boringly reliable average Joe looking Glock. A Glock in this scene would have not hit quite the same. And can we talk about the gunshot sound effects in this scene? Someone needs to put that audio on a sleep machine for gun nuts. I could listen to it over and over and over and over again. Now, let's pause the Vincent love fest to appreciate the iconic Mozambique drill he used. If you're new here, it goes like this. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Guaranteed, leave them dead.
He got bars.
Here's the short history lesson. Back in the 60s, during a conflict in Mozambique, mercenary Mike Russo faced an enemy soldier wielding an AK-47. Russo fired 2 rounds into the guy's chest, but surprise, the dude stayed standing, probably fueled by sheer adrenaline or the world's best pre-workout, I don't know. Oh boy! So Russo aimed again, this time for the head, but missed slightly, hitting the neck instead. Still worked, though it severed the spinal cord, threat neutralized. Russo told this story to legendary firearm instructor Jeff Cooper, who thought, this would make a pretty badass drill. He named it after Mozambique and started teaching it at Gunsight Academy. Now, scenes like this is exactly why I started my podcast channel called The Pew Culture. Pew, 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 pew. So, hit that subscribe button, join us, and let's keep the conversation going.